has been a minute and a half, but it's really good to be back. I really miss talking to you guys, so I decided to do one of these art meditation sessions and record it for you guys after having many conversations with the amazing Miss Tarot D. I thought I'd finally listen to her, I guess. And record one of these sessions with you guys. I'm also really glad I had some good conversations with her. She had some really great questions, which I was grateful for, so I could talk a bit more about that in this video. Now, I don't normally feel called to do a tarot reading during a meditation session, but this time I did, and when you get that feeling, you answer it. I ended up getting Four of Pentacles, King of Pentacles, Four of Wands, and I like to do an overarching card of the day, which I got was Nine of Pentacles. So before I even do any of the drawing, I sit in my chair and figure out where my feet are, whether that's on the floor or in a weird ass position on the chair. Happens more often than not. Let me know if you're like that too, please and thank you. So I'm not the only one. I like to know where my body is within the chair so that it brings us back to our physical body and that we are aware of our space and how we're interacting with it. After that, I'll do some deep breathing exercises. And while I'm doing some deep breathing exercises, I let any shapes and colors come to mind. For this session, I saw a lot of light and dark blues, purples and white, and a lot of circles as well. I really wanted to start creating again with these alcohol ink Copic markers, which I would always draw with once I got them in high school and collected them like Pokemon cards. I started using that and had a lot of fun with it. I realized I wanted some variety with my materials that I was using and brought out my acrylic paint pens as well as the Sakura white jelly roll. I'm just sharing what I'm using in this piece, but please remember to just use what you already have, and if that's just Sharpies and crayons, that's perfectly fine. During the middle of the session, I realized they were all starting to look like evil eyes, and that told me two things. One of the messages that I received was to always protect my space and energy no matter where I am, because you never know what could happen, so it's always good to be prepared. And the second is that I'm always protected. I just want to reiterate that I had no intention of any evil eyes or shapes that came to mind before this meditation. I just knew life was hectic and I really needed to just sit down and create something for myself. And it's a nice reminder that it's all about trusting the process. And I really noticed that came up a lot for me during this meditation. I kept thinking that this needed to be perfect and it needed to look really good. And then I realized that the whole point of this session is for me to have fun and to connect art with spirituality. I thanked that thought and pushed it aside and kept working on it and tried to remind myself to have a lot more fun with this art session. And this just proves to show that there are so many different ways that people can meditate. It doesn't have to be from a guided meditation. You can sing, dance, go crazy with it. As long as it's a healthy way for you to release something at the end of the day and you feel better about it, then that's great and that's what works for you. And each of our spiritual practices are going to look different to each of us. So I think that's a nice reminder because I know we always get lost in if we're doing the right thing or not. But in reality, as long as it works and feels good for you in a healthy way, then you're definitely on the right path for that. Automatic writing and drawing is all about releasing your conscious thoughts and connecting with spiritual messages. It's really about letting go. As I mentioned before, I like to call in benevolent guides, ancestors, and spirits into my meditations while imagining a force shield. Here you can kind of channel your inner Jedi. I know some people can't imagine visuals within their mind's eye, and there are many other ways to go about that during your meditation. You can sit with yourself and see if your spirit team has any words that come up for you, or if that doesn't help, write down a word that you're currently feeling. Writing down that word gives you that visual and keeps you focused during your meditation. Afterwards, I sat with it. I encourage when you're done with your art meditation to just sit with your piece for a minute, see if any messages or anything comes up for you, write that down, maybe write it on the back of your paper. I like to always date it too and leave an arrow up in case it's like too abstract, and I know I am not going to remember which way that piece goes. So an arrow never hurts. I thought I'd share a bit of information about automatic writing and drawing. They both came at different points in time of history, but both have been around for ages, and from my very brief research, it seems it didn't pick up traction until 1913, but it shows it was recorded earlier in China as spirit writing. There are other people who have claimed to have invented it and have written books about it, so feel free to research that in your own time. I don't feel the need to put it here since it's been around for a long time. Even though I sped this up, I still took my time with my artwork. I learned that when I recognize I'm trying to rush through the art process, I try to remind myself to listen to the sounds of the art supplies that they make against the paper. Notice how I'm sitting and bring awareness back to my breath. This actually took me 35 minutes out of my day, and I was about to talk myself out of it. I'm glad I sat down with this art meditation and have been trying to bring this back into my own routine. I figured instead of lying down, being trapped in the doom scrolling as per usual, I should be more productive with my emotions and honor them by releasing it through art. Art helps calm down our nervous system. Even if you're a beginner at it, I recommend starting with simple shapes that you're familiar with. Circles, rectangles, triangles, hell, even just draw lines for all I really care. Even I like to use this kind of art exercise, especially when I have an art block and I don't know what to draw. Starting with simple shapes and simple art supplies releases that pressure from making your artwork, and I quote, look good. If it's just for you, I'd recommend releasing that unrealistic expectation and just be present in the moment. Listen to your intuition, let your hands and creativity guide you on this fun journey. As I said, it's a great exercise to be present in the moment, recognize what your thought patterns are, and if you're rushing yourself to get it done. Is someone pressuring you, or are you putting that on yourself? If it's you, why can't that thing wait 10 more minutes? Honor yourself by giving yourself that space and to regulate your own emotions. Another exercise, which I might share an example of in the future, is to draw both of your hands on the same sheet of paper. And just imagine what comes up for you during your short meditation, like we talked about, shapes, colors, anything of the sort. Then imagine one hand is what your stress looks like. The other hand is what it'll look like when the stress is released. It's a good exercise to honor both the stress and the release, which you need in order to keep building up those art exercises with. And besides this kind of art, I've also really dived deep into neurographical art as well. After 10 years of being a professional illustrator and going to art college to always strive to improve my best, it's nice to take a break from that and to unwind with more abstract art. If you asked me years ago if I liked abstract art, I would tell you, what's the point? It's funny how things come in full circle. I was actually thinking of turning this into a series. If all of you are interested in that, please let me know what you'd like to learn or are curious about. I do have some subjects in mind, such as, the classic what is neurographical art, what's processing art and how it can heal you, connecting with your inner child, inner teen, and higher self, and also art calming your nervous system. If there are any other topics that I missed that you're curious about, please let me know. I do hope to rebuild my channel as an accessible place for art and spirituality. And when it came to the best part, which is peeling off the tape, which I don't normally use tape for borders, but I've seen so many videos of it that I had to experience it again because, again, it's been so long. So it was really nice to peel off that tape and see the whole piece come together. I realized this would look really cool as an art print and also some stickers. So by the time this video is up, I'm so excited to share with you guys that my Ko-Fi shop will be up with this print and other prints and stickers as well. And I'm really excited to share with you guys that I finally put up my first reading on my Ko-Fi shop as well. If you want to go ahead and check that out, I'd really appreciate it. This reading is called an aura reading, so I will provide a visual image of how I perceive your aura and will give guidance on what you need to clear out any blockages or release any energies. These illustrations will differ from being to being with different shapes, colors, sizes, and I will share all that with you in a digital format. Thank you guys so much for your support and for watching. I really do appreciate it. And until then, I will see you in the next one. Bye.